BL couples, and if I think they're still married and if they're even happy in their marriages, Taiwanese BL edition. My opinion only, don't come at me. Only one couple here is healthy. Only one couple here is fantastic, and it's these guys. They have the absolute most fun marriage in existence. They often tease each other. They often play around. They often make out. They work together, and some of their biggest fights are basically just him being like, hey, we're working. Can you stop pulling me into closets to make out? And he's like, I don't see what the problem is. I work here too. Why can't I utilize the storage closet? The absolute second they could get married, they did. And that was another little fight on their own because he's like, you need to calm down. We don't need this big of a wedding. And he's like, I, again, don't understand the words coming out of your mouth. I heard I need to shower you in the most extravagant wedding we've ever done at our company because they work at a wedding planning company. And he's like, we don't need this. And he's like, I think you do need to come down the aisle on a pony that's like dressed as a unicorn as flowers rain down on you because that's how you should be treated always, every day of your life. They absolutely 100% have just a ton of kids. And at one point he like just kind of looks around and is like, how did this happen? Like, how did I agree to this? And he's like, you did agree to this. And he's like, I guess I did because I do love you. And he's like, yeah, I know. Duh. These guys are still together. Hear me out. These guys are still together, and it's the most awful thing ever. No one who meets them thinks this needs to last. This needs to continue on its trajectory. No one. Absolutely no one. This isn't a fight for them, but these two often talk about ways to actually get him to be with someone else because they've tried the whole sitting him down and being like, remember everything he's done. Yeah, remember everything he's done. Let's back away from that. No, these guys are like doing meet cutes. They're seeing random people. They have a notebook that he just pulls out willy-nilly when they're out in public. It's like, this looks like someone that he could be with. And then he's like, well, he doesn't meet the criteria. And he's like, well, it's better. It's better than this one over here. It's better than that. But these guys are not only loyal to each other, they're very loyal to their third best friend. And even though when they get drunk, they still like, he heavily is like, dude, leave him. They kind of back off. They're not always every single conversation being like, hey, why don't you find love that's not toxic? Instead, they just try to parent trap him to meet other people. Like, I can see that also being a backup fight when he just like keeps going up to people who come in to like get wedding consultations. And he's like, they're getting married. You can't set him up. You can't set him up with him. They're literally here for their marriage. And he's like, well, it's not written in stone yet. Like, come on. They are extremely happy and are going to last a lifetime. And they try to give him as much love as they think he deserves because we don't need this. We don't need this. The second, and I mean the second this guy gets out of jail, the absolute second, he is wearing a tux. He's got an aisle of flowers. Okay. He has an altar set up. Okay. He is ready. He's on me. He's like, we're not getting engaged. We're not talking about a future wedding. We aren't even discussing the fact that I helped put you in prison. We're going to get married right now. We're going to get married right now. And this guy's like, say less. Say less. Their biggest fights are going to have absolutely nothing to do with the fact that, again, he helped kind of put him in prison and like that whole power dynamic thing. Instead, he is going to tease him because while he was in prison, he was trying to learn how to cook like cool stuff for him from the other couple. And he was really bad at it. And they make fun of him and he gets embarrassed. So embarrassment for what he has tried to do to better himself for him while he was away in prison, which leads me to, how all couples have this thing where they can communicate in a room, like they're at a party and they want to leave early. And so that they give each other a sign. This couple, no, they do not communicate with signs. They loudly say, hey, I don't like this. This is awkward. They're being weird. They're fighting. I don't think they're going to last. And he is just like, okay, baby cakes. You want to go? And he's like, yeah, I'm just not liking the vibe. But he's saying it very loudly in a crowded room around the vibe he does not like. He thinks that's hilarious because he can read a room. But he's like, all right, boo, let's just go. Let's just go home. This couple is super duper duper married and will forever live in a very small apartment. And while initially he did not like that, he wanted to buy him like the biggest house ever. He absolutely loves how small their house is because it means he can be on him 24/7. 24/7. Somehow they also became the mom couple of the group and they don't know how. Really, he doesn't know how. Baby boy's thoughts don't process like the rest of us. But he's like, how did I get this way? Why are they always coming over here for holidays and to eat? And like, why are they on my couch right now? Like, I want to be alone with him. Like, yeah, you just got out of prison and y'all are freshly married. Leave our house. Okay. I have plans for him. So just roll out. I firmly believe that they will eventually have kids, but for the very first part of their marriage, they're definitely going to work on the fact that he didn't really have a childhood and he's going to try to make up for that. And so they are going to do their spicy normal stuff, but they're going to go on like fun kid-like adventures. Like he's going to go to the amusement park like 10 times and he's going to like film absolutely everything. He's like going to have a camera and he's like, yay, do the carousel again. Get it going. They're all going to be happy. Absolutely still together and have some of the kinkiest spicy time you've ever seen in your life. Headcanon. Their biggest fights, hand down, are going to be family and the fact that they no longer visit his. They have cut off his family. Absolutely cut off. And it's an issue because he really wants like him to have this perfect family experience. And he's like, do you remember? And he's like, yeah, it's fine. Well, maybe not. What baby boy here won't tell you is he no longer has any issues with the dentist, but to make his husband feel better, every time he does go, he pretends to be a little scared. He's like, I can't get dental work unless it's you. And then he's like, oh, I know. Only I can do this. He'll go into the other offices. Only me. Everyone else back off. Only me. Like one time he's sick, but he needs something done, like dental emergency. And he's like, I got this. And he's like, honey, you're under the weather. You can't do this. And he's like, watch me. We'll do it at home. We'll do it. Give me the pliers right now. Right now. They're happily married. And once their kids are old enough to really learn how they had like their meet cute, they kind of change his story a little bit because he's like, yeah, I had trauma from when I was a child, like really bad trauma about the dentist. And then I met a sexy dentist and we hated each other and then we fell in love, but they're going to make that better. Like, oh, I went to the dentist. I was scared. He held my hand. That's how I met your father. Nothing else traumatic happened. They're happy forever. You know that couple who won't shut up about how perfect they are, about how they beat the odds when it comes to love, like they're top tier soulmates. And even at parties and gatherings, they're like all over each other, but in like the worst way possible. That's these guys, okay? They're married, they have kids, and they think they are God's gift to love and romance. But it's these guys, okay? They've been married almost just as long as the other guys, but they're quiet about it. Okay, because they understand they are the better couple. Okay, they have more in common. They are jiving more. They are on the same playing field. They understand each other. They are the guys that when they're in a room and they want to leave, they look across it at each other. They have hand signals. They don't even need hand signals. Excuse me. They just like, and they're like, okay, I know exactly what baby boy wants. I know exactly what baby boy wants. Yeah. They have a joint Facebook account. And they send each other spicy snaps. These are the guys that you want to watch. Their kids, hilarious, chaotic, but in the absolute best way ever. Relationship outlasts their parents, and he tries really hard not to bring that up at every family gathering. But they definitely like giggle about it in bed while they're married. Like, that's hilarious. Thank God they met so we could get married. Not categorized as a BL, but definitely about two guys falling in love who just happen to be in a supernatural show. As soon as baby boy wakes up, he's like, by the way, I'm like super in love with you. Did you even know that you've been making art for me that speaks directly to my soul all this time? And he's like, we weren't in love the whole time. I thought we were already together. Like, what do you mean? Did you not know that we love each other a lot? And he's like, well, I mean, I guess I kind of knew. And he's like, well, yeah, we've been together this whole time. Once they realize they could have been making out this entire time, they start making out. They're married forever, and they help a lot of people with ghosty things and doctory things. Hilarious couple.